Hello, everybody. I apologize for the lack of stream yesterday. I was dealing with some last-second work hijinks that caused me to stay until 11 o'clock. Yeah, shit sucks, but we'll get right to it. We're not wasting any time. I think we're on section 2. We'll read this over again, and we'll see if we need to add anything else. But yeah, that's the reason why I didn't stream yesterday. Shit went down. Okay. If you take away the demon hunting instincts in the Nanaya family, you're left with a stark reality. Shiki Nanaya isn't a real person. He is a possibility of what might have happened if fate didn't intervene. When Nakia's father had his clan wiped out, he didn't just kill Nania's family. He erased any chance that Nanaya had of growing up normally in his bloodline. We'll probably change that to within. The Nanaya clan raised their children with one goal in mind: turn them into weapons to kill demons. Yeah. We'll stay with that for now. In a way, they were conditioning them. In Nanya's case, that conditioning was cut short. Child Shiki Nanaya would be adopted into the Tohno family, later sent to the Arima family, and grow up to be a somewhat normal person. Somewhat normal person is somewhat pushing it. Okay. Alright, so about to be 7:30. Let's do about 15 to 20 minutes, probably maybe 30 minutes worth of work. We'll see. I do have some stuff to take care of because I have to leave out of this room in the next 48 hours. I'm really pissed off about it. Alright, Child Shiki Nanaya will be later adopted into the Tohno family, later sent to the Aria family, and grow up to be a somewhat normal person. Meh. What else do I want to do here? He got a chance to build an identity. Wait a minute, hold on. Yeah. A chance to build an identity outside of killing. Outside of killing. Nanaya is the opposite, though. I'm still looking for probably a September release for this. Probably. I didn't think I was gonna be this busy this month, but IRL is being a pain in the ass at the moment with work, so I might have to push this to at least September, Labor Day. We'll push this maybe to Labor Day. Nanaya is the opposite. We just leave it opposite. It is the opposite. Let's be a little bit descriptive here. He's the... I don't want to say frozen in time. I do want to say... I know I don't want to say frozen time. Freeze frame? Yeah. He's the literal freeze frame. He is the literal... Do I want to say frozen in time, though? Alright. Yeah. He's a literal... I cannot spell when I stream. He's a literal freeze frame. He is a little freeze frame of... conditioning. Yeah, like he has the conditioning, but it's frozen there because he didn't... Alright, I gotta listen to myself think real quick. So, massacre happens, Child Shiki Nanaya gets adopted to the Tohno family. We don't know if he would have became the Nanaya we all know and love, but he still has that training that was instilled in him. So if we want to be really cute about it, we'll just say, for argument's sake, if Child Shiki grew up to be Nanaya, he would still have somewhat of that training still instilled in him. So it's literally it's kind of frozen in time-ish. I don't want to say frozen in time, it's cheesy as fuck. Fuck it, we'll just go with this. It's a literal freeze frame of child conditioning. We're gonna go with that. What happens? Childhood conditioning remains. So as mentioned before, I'm still debating on what I want to do for the next one because I gotta do Yumineko next. I gotta do a horror themed video. Then I'll come back to Type Moon. It's probably gonna be redoing MASH again, or if someone suggests something, I'll probably do something. There's a lot of things we can do, but I gotta do, beside my sprite animation stuff, I gotta do Yumineko next, a horror one, then back to Type Moon. Machine renames. He's a little freeze frame of what happens when that childhood conditioning is all that remains. I need to give examples of this. So we'll use Tatsumi Nani as an example. So in Melty Blood, when Tatsuri manifests. Okay, I gotta be specific here. All right, I'm gonna gap for a second. As a reminder, Tatsuri is a phenomenon that is based off of rumors. So if there's a rumor going around of a killer with a knife killing people in cold blood, there's a good chance it will manifest Nanaya. A good chance. It could be somebody else, but it's Type Moon in Tsukihime, so it's probably going to be Nanaya. So it should be noted, Tatsuri Nanaya, if he's manifested, is a completely separate character from the Nanaya persona that's within Tohno's dome. Tatsuri Nanaya should be seen as a portrayal of how that character would probably be like. He's a portrayal of what Shiki Nanaya probably could be like. But again, we have to separate them because if Tatsuri Nanaya dies, he dies. The other Nanaya persona inside Tohno doesn't die. So we have to establish that. We have to keep on establishing that. It's the same thing with V-Shion. V-Shion is a version of Shion who gives into her vampiric impulses. Because again, forget, Shion is still a vampire. Just because Wallachia dies does not get rid of her vampirism. That's not how that shit works. So V-Shion represents Shion with like losing her vampiric impulses. But if V-Shion dies, Shion's still fine. Because she turned into V-Shion? Sure. As soon as she gets into her impulses, you just have V-Shion right there. So again, Tatsuri, what it is what it is. It's a rumor manifested. Okay. I can't hear myself. I have to hear myself think at times. This does get confusing. Okay. When Tatsuri manifests a rumor, how do I want to word this? We don't even need to say when. In Melty, Tatari manifests a version of Nana that is separate from the dorm persona of Tohno. It gives him a physical body. It gives him a physical body and representation and a glimpse. Brooks home. Oh, there we go. It gives him a physical body and the audience. We gotta put the audience. Okay. Time is it? Alright. It gives him a physical body and gives the audience a glimpse of what could have been for Tohno. I like this. I don't want to go into too much detail because we have a whole separate section dedicated for Tatari Nanaya. So we'll just we'll use this as a teaser. This is where it gets kind of hard. This is where it gets kind of hard because again, we can talk about it here, but I want to separate us. I want to give Tatari Nanaya his own little section. So I think we can just wrap it up with that. But it should be noted. No, I already said this. We don't need to do this again. I might be setting myself up for disaster here. Tatari Nanaya. To be honest, I don't think I'm going to do that right now. We're going to save this for later. We're not going to add any more to this. But let me read this again from scratch. If you take away the demon hunting instincts in the Nanaya family, you're left with a stark reality. Shiki Nanaya isn't a real person. He's a possibility of what might happen if fate didn't intervene. When Aki's father had his clan wiped out, he didn't just kill Nanaya's family. He erased any chance that Nanaya had of growing up normally in his bloodline. The Nanaya clan raised their children with one goal in mind: turn them into weapons to kill demons. In a way, they were conditioning them. In Nanaya's case, that conditioning was cut short. Child Shiki Nanaya will be adopted into the Tohno family, later sent to the Yarima family, and grow up to be a somewhat normal person. Tongue twisters. He got a chance to build an identity outside of killing. Nanaya is the opposite. He's the literal freeze frame of what happens when childhood conditioning is all that remains. In Melty, Tatari manifests the version of Nanaya that is separate from the Dora persona of Tohno. It gives him a physical body in the audience. It gives him a physical body and gives the audience a glimpse at what could have been for Tohno. So As a member, as a member of the audience, you're left to ponder. Okay, we're gonna say that for Tatsumi Nanya's section because I don't want to repeat myself. And if we introduce this way too early, we're setting us up for disaster. We don't want to do redundancy. Redundancy is terrible. Okay, let me read this again. What time is it? 60 minutes. Okay, good. Okay, if you take away the demon hunting instincts in the Nanya family name, you are left with a stark reality. Shiki Nanaya isn't a real person. He's a possibility of what might have happened if fate didn't intervene. When Akia's father had his clan wiped out, he didn't just kill Nanya's family, he erased any chance that Nanya had of growing up normally in his bloodline. The Nanya clan raised their children with one goal in mind: turn them into weapons to kill demons. In a way, they were conditioning them. In Nanya's case, that conditioning was cut short. Child Shiki Nanaya would be adopted into the Tohno family, later sent to the Arima family, and grow up to be a somewhat normal person. He got a chance to build an identity outside of killing. Nanya is the opposite. He's the literal freeze frame of what happens when that childhood conditioning is all that remains. In Melty Blood, Tatsuri manifests a version of Nanya that is separate from the dormant persona within Tohno. It gives him a physical body and gives the audience a glimpse of what could have been for Tohno. As a member of the audience, you are left to ponder: was this what Tohno was destined for, if that night ever happened? I do like it, but again, we'll keep it for now. We might change that later. I gotta think. What more can I do here? Let me read I'm not gonna read that section again. I'm just gonna read from the top again. I normally don't do this, but I need to just think about something. There's something terrifying about being born into a world you never asked for. Before you learn to speak or make a choice, your life has already been mapped out for you. We like to think we own who we are, that our identity is built as we grow. For some people, identity isn't what you get to build. Excuse me. It's like fate built a cage that you're stuck in. Look at Shiki Tohno. On first impressions, he looks like a quiet person who has a health impairment. He gets to go to school, make friends, and somewhat tries to figure out what he wants to be. But sleeping under all that is something much darker, a suppressed, cold-blooded instinct that carries his original name, Nanaya. Nanaya isn't some evil alter ego or some separate guy living in his head. He's what remains of a child whose entire family was slaughtered in a single night. When Makihisa Tohno ordered the Nanya clan to be wiped out, only a child Shiki Nanaya survived. He was spared on a whim because he shared the same name as Makihisa Tohno's own son, Shiki. He would be later taken in and raised as a Tohno. When Tohno gets to walk around and live a somewhat normal life, the Nanya side only comes out when Tohno is about to die or when his Nanya instincts take over. He doesn't get to live a life. In a sense, he only exists when violence requires him to. And when the events of Tsukihime and Melty pulls that instinct out of Tohno's subconscious, it turns him into a phantom walking through the streets of Misaki Town. I am probably going to change that. The over-dramatization kind of like was bugging out there. But back to this. We then witness the full extent of the tragedy. He isn't frightening because he's a killer. He's frightening because killing is the only role he was given. In the shared world of Tsukihime and Melty Blood, this happens to almost everyone. In this world, people don't get to be human that much. There are ancient bloodlines, demonic entities, vampires, immortal executioners of the church, and beings that defy reality coexisting with society. They're used as tools, cursed by their bloodlines, and crushed by expectations that they can't control. The writer James Baldwin once said, "I am what time, circumstance, and history have made of me. Certainly, but I am also much more than that." What Baldwin was talking about is the gap between the trauma life gives you and what you manage to build for yourself. You are not only shaped by where you come from, but your identity comes from everything after. the choices you make when you're allowed to make them. Tohno was able to build an identity through his experiences, the people he met, and the choices he made. The Nanaya persona inside of him never got that chance. He remained trapped in time, circumstance, and the history that created him. And that's the real tragedy here. It's not that Nanaya is a killer. It's that killing was the only identity the world allowed him to keep. If you look at almost everyone in Tsukihime and Melty Blood, they are stuck performing a role forced upon them by circumstance. Take Akiya. For a brief period, she grew up with Tohno as her adoptive brother, but due to the event and aftermath of the incident involving her biological brother Shiki, she takes control of the Tohno household after her father's death. The hardships of being the forced head of the household isn't the only thing she has to deal with. She spends every day suppressing her demonic instincts just to keep the estate functioning. If you know, you know what her and Kawaku do in that bedroom. If you know, you know. TL was cursed to immortality by being the former host of Roa. But Roa is alive, she can't die. So the church, after numerous failed attempts to kill her, kept her as their unkillable enforcer. Kawaku and Hisui serve as Akiya's trusted maids, but their childhood trauma was so severe that Hisui gave a mentally damaged Kawaku her own personality. This was done to protect her damaged sister. Kawaku became the cheerful girl wearing a mask, while Hisui became the quiet and stoic girl. Shion carries the ruins of the Elton family name on her back after her ancestor, Pelagia, fell into madness in his pursuit of Tatari. Ri's Bife, once part of the church, was consumed by Tatari, but her existence is being preserved by various circumstances. This ranges from a weapon protecting her while she was consumed, becoming a projected image from Tatari, and later being preserved by Shion. Everyone here gets handed a role, but for most of these characters, their identity is whatever they manage to build. It's who they try to be when they aren't fighting, serving, or surviving. Nanaya doesn't get these moments. He doesn't have a life on the outside of his role. He represents the what-if of Tohno's life. What happens when an identity is built out of the Nanaya family's upbringing? He isn't a person who gets to go to school, hang out with friends, or even think about the future. He's the dormant persona sleeping in the back of Tohno's mind. He is non-existent until Tohno's life is in danger, because Tohno's death would mean his own death. When Nero had Tohno on the verge of death with his 666 beasts, something happened within Tohno. Nanaya took over, effortlessly killed all 666 of Nero's beasts, and Nero included. So in a way, Nanaya exists when the trigger is pulled. What is unsettling about Nanaya is that he's a hollow shell who happens to be good at what he does, killing. This is what makes his manifestation in Melty terrifying. You're giving a person the freedom to do what they do best. You're giving a person the freedom to do what they do best. We're just gonna do that. If you take away the door, all right, we don't need to read this again, but I kind of have an idea where I want to go with this now. All right, outline. Nanaya's role as an identity. Fuck. What time is it? All right, let's do a few more minutes and we'll start wrapping it up for tonight. I like keeping these streams shorter because 30 minutes is a good time frame in my opinion for someone just to chill, relax, learn some lore. Anything past 30 minutes is kind of pushing it. And also got to be time to do sprite animation stuff and actually go to bed. Okay, back to this. All right, Nanaya's role as an identity. What should we do with this? Nanaya's role as an identity. Okay. I'm gonna say a take. I think one of the biggest differences between Tohno and Nanaya is how they view violence. Tohno he isn't a violent guy by nature. Well, but he'll get the job done if he needs to get the job done. Nanaya is the complete opposite. Like this, my man will, as you see with Como, will fight to the death. So I think I got something there. Okay, we'll just do a take. One of it's how they view violence. That's how they view violence. I gotta give an example here. And I did not drink alcohol today. There's soju right next to me that I just did not touch because I've been drinking an energy drink, protein shake. That's a terrible combo. Okay. So let's give an example. When Tohno realized what happened with Arcade in that alleyway, my man's life was literally like, what? So at first, oh my god, I just killed somebody. Then as we progress, he becomes hardened, more hardened. He's a completely different character from how he started and how he ended. He grew up as a character. Okay. For Tohno, I'll be a little bit cheeky here. For Tohno, and really like any normal person, for most people, violence is something that breaks your life apart. What a transition! Oh shit, what a transition! Mm-hmm. For Tohno, really most people, violence is something that breaks your life apart. When Tohno gets pushed into a place into a fight. Mm-hmm. I was gonna say a quote from this game, but I just blanked out. Light from the flame calms you. Yeah, but it does. When Tohno gets placed into a fight, it pulls him through his normal routines. Pulls him away from his normal routine. Or just livelihood in general. It's almost 30 minutes? Yeah, this fuck. Alright, we just gotta start wrapping this up. His normal routines. His school life. His friends. And the person he was trying to be. Fuck! Work. Alright. We gotta start wrapping this up. Excuse my French. Even when I'm off duty, I'm on duty. Alright, we'll just read this real quick. Again, tomorrow we'll be doing some more shit. So my old ass eyes. So one of the biggest differences between Tohno and Nanaya is how they view violence. For Tohno, and really for most people, violence is something that breaks your life apart. When Tohno gets placed into a fight, it pulls him away from his normal routines, his school life, and the person he wants to be. I like it. Alright, so good stuff. We did about 30 minutes of work. Enjoy the VOD, everybody, as usual. As mentioned, I'm gonna probably be doing MASH again after I'm getting to the next Type Moon cycle. If anybody has a suggestion, I'll do it, but it's either gonna be MASH or I might do CL or Rolla. But besides all that, I gotta go answer that. So y'all take care and enjoy the VOD. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Good night, guys.